Hey everybody, CJ here, your local friendly technology addict, and this is the Tech Addict's Attic. So I got an update notification yesterday or the day before saying that there is a wireless update available for our Blackview BV9500Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And not knowing how long it's going to take, I'm also going to show you guys something that I discovered a day or two ago as well. So we go into Settings, come all the way down here to System, then About Phone. Go to Wireless Update, and you'll see that a new version is available. Let's see if I can't get this to focus up close. Come on. There, so now you've got it. This version is 2019-01-16. Oh, yeah, they give you a release date there too. And you see how big it is. So this is going to take a little bit of time to download. You can see the problems that they're trying to resolve. So those of you who have a slow charge, and this is a problem. I don't have a slow charge issue. What's it going to break for me? They made a switch for the PTT button. Well, we already knew about a workaround, so I'm thinking they just simply activated the workaround. And they added some frequency bands in the United States. Well, that's new. So maybe I'll get signal where I didn't already. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom this back or focus this back out. I hope that focus is sharp enough. And we're going to hit download. Now I am on Wi-Fi and I do have a 100% battery. Now I noticed something. This antenna, one day I was putting it on and I tightened it and I over-tightened it. I was devastated. I thought that I had turned the connector on the inside of the phone. In reality though, it was just the rubber on the outside of the antenna. And as you can see, if I sit here and wiggle it and wobble it, it will eventually work its way off. Now, the more I do this, of course, the looser it's going to get, and I really don't want that. Alright? But that's what the antenna looks like on the inside. So I'm going to unscrew that. Wow, if I can. We're already up to 9% on the download. Now, I've made another mistake and actually uncoiled this from this. And all this is just a slightly, on the inside, a slightly threaded piece of metal onto which the spring basically just wraps on. But we're going to figure out what the resonant frequency is of this coil, of this antenna. So I've got my handy dandy trusty caliper here. And I'm going to measure the part of the coil that has nothing around it. .31 millimeter. Okay. I want to keep this going, so I really should have turned off my screen timer. 6.31 centimeter. Ooh, I'll use this pencil. I like it. Okay, maybe I can focus better on that. Maybe not. Okay, so that's the outer diameter. But we also need to know the diameter of the wire itself. Or do we? .94. So, if I double 0.94, which I shouldn't need a calculator for, I'll get 1.88. So if I subtract 1.88 from 6.37, or 3.1, I get 4.43. So that should be pretty close, and it won't be exact, but it should be pretty close to what I measure on the inside diameter. Of the coil. 4.45, 4.43, I'll take it. Diameter internal, 4.45. So what this means is, being only 0.02 off, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to subtract 0.94 from 6.31 to get the average diameter. .37. This guy keeps going to sleep on me. So do half of you, right? 57%. Okay, so 5.37. And of course, all these measurements are in millimeters. Now, I could get really technical and start measuring the length and writing all of that down, but the thing that's important to know is how many turns we have. Now, what you won't be able to really tell without taking the coil apart is that right in there is the top of the core. Okay? So basically, this length here is part of your antenna, and then once the coil separates from that, that's where the antenna continues. And I see the coil separating from that right about here. But you know what? For convenience, we see that the coil ends there. Honestly, that's close enough. I'm going to count that as the first turn, right there. Second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13 at the bottom of the foam. You can see 14 inside the foam, 15, I can feel 16, feel 17, feel 18, feel 19, 20, and 21. We'll say 21 3/4, because honestly it was more over here where it's completely detached from the core, and then that's about 3/4 of a turn. And of course, we're talking a difference of a few millimeters. It's really not going to make that big a deal. So we'll say 21 3/4 turns. Now, we need the average diameter, 5.37 millimeter. We're going to multiply that by pi. 16.8703525. Yeah, sure, why not? I'm just going to continue with that math, that number of decimals, just because the calculator can handle it. Now, that is the length of one coil of wire in this antenna, and we have 21 3/4 of those. That is the length of the antenna plus the, 9 or so millimeters there. You know what? Let me measure that. I'm losing parts of my caliper. And of course, this is just a loose measurement. I mean, actually, that part is shielded, so where this yellow or this white phenolic part is probably where the shield stops. So that's where I'm going to consider to be the length of the antenna that we add on, 7.64. Excuse me. What did I say? 7.65 is what's on there now. I think it was 6.4, but that isn't going to be that big of a difference. All right. We're at 77% on our download. $374.58. All right. While that's downloading, I'm going to go up in here to Physics Toolbox. Not Physics Toolbox. No, not that one. Calc for Electronics. I've already got a wavelength calculator up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the wavelength. Now, this is millimeters. And of course, this is not the wavelength. For one wavelength, this would be an 800 megahertz antenna. Obviously, we're not operating in 800 megahertz. So if we double, because I've got a hunch, and that's the problem, is it's a hunch. Most antennas that you find on a two-way radio are going to be half wavelength. So that being the case, just double the length, and you should be able to calculate the resonant frequency from that. Oh, it's only let me go up to 4 decimals. That's okay. All right, so we recalculate, and the frequency is 400.171 megahertz. Now that's, excuse me, that's a little low for my tastes. I really would prefer to have that a little more toward the 420 range. And I actually calculated this the other night, and I got a number in the 420 range. But what I failed to consider at that time was that this bit of length right here is also part of the antenna. It radiates too. And then, of course, you've got the coupling there that might alter it a little as well. But for all intents and purposes, our resonant frequency will be somewhere between the 400 megahertz that I calculate right now and the 424-ish that I got the other night. Alright. Perfect timing. Do I want to install now or install later? Now I have updated, well, we'll call it an update. It wasn't really an update. It didn't do anything. And it says, not that you would be able to see, I don't want you guys to miss any of this. Now this stuff down here is because I've unlocked my bootloader. Problem is, I can't find a way to relock the bootloader. I was trying to root it. Root failed, but now I can't relock the bootloader, so got to deal with that all the time now. And I apologize for the cleanliness or lack thereof of my lens. I could swear I had cleaned that. First world problems, right? I doubt that's any better. So you guys can see this is going kind of slow. I'll save you a little bit of time and pause the recording here. Of course, it also occurs to me that while I wait, I can put my handle back on, because let's face it, I don't use it for two-way radio as much as I thought I would. Good as new. It occurred to me I didn't finish my earlier statement. I tried doing an update before, and it turned out not really to be an update. I backed up all of my irreplaceable stuff onto my Google accounts, and frankly, I hate using cloud storage like that, but you know, when it's the only thing you've got available to you because you just haven't gotten around to buying that NAS yet. So I do recommend, if you're going to do an update to your phone, go ahead and back everything up somewhere, because we don't know until we do it whether or not it's going to wipe everything. Even if it doesn't wipe everything on my phone, do not trust that it won't wipe everything on yours. Go ahead and back your stuff up before you do an update. If you fail to back your stuff up and you lose all your stuff because the update wipes your phone, it's not my fault. It really is slow going. I think I started this about 28 minutes ago. I wish I had taken note of the time. But it is progressing very, very slowly. I think we're getting there. You know, it just occurred to me, the last time I rebooted this phone was about a month ago. I think. Whenever it was, I tried the last update. Huh. Well, it looks like all of my settings are still there. All of my, all of that stuff. Your system has been updated to latest version successfully. Awesome. Alright, so. System. About phone. Wireless update. Disagree. What I don't like is it won't tell you what your current version is when there is an update available. So, but we've already checked, and it says that the device's software is currently up to date. We'll check again, just because I'm anal retentive. So it looks like we have a successful update. I wonder if that Intercom is still disabled. I bet that that's all the difference was, because with that enabled, push that button and it's going to bring up and initialize your amateur radio stuff. So let me get back out of it. Updating MCU. Please wait a moment. Interesting. I wonder if we've got a software update. What is MCU? Anybody know? Alright, so thing is I'm in that one amateur radio mode that allows me to give away where I live. Yeah, I'm kind of protective of that. Okay, so they still have, let's see here, let's see about, you know, I'm just going to add a channel. And they still have digital as the default. So we still have to do the, yeah, there's no decimal. Narrowband, wideband, low power, high power, we want low power. Squelch 0, receive, CTCSS, and we're still looking at integer numbers for CTCSS, and we still have 50 of them, so that's probably all the same as it was before. I'm not going to even bother with it. But we do have MCU firmware version and DMR firmware version, which we did not have before. Cannot get this thing close enough to the camera. There is a highlight that responds to touch, but... Ooh, PCM Test Mode is open. PCM Test Mode is closed. Interesting. I just discovered something. Wonder what if I... Nothing happens with MCU firmware. Nothing happens with DMR firmware. If I open PCM test mode first, still nothing happens with those. Does anybody know anything about that? Please hit me up in the comments there. I'm going to exit that app. So I'm going to turn off PTT because I really don't want that enabled anyway. I'm always grabbing the phone like that, you know, as I suspect most of you are as well. So I'm going to play around a little bit. I really don't expect to find anything new. I don't expect to find anything worthy of note. But if I do, I'll certainly do another video and let you guys know. But, as is often the case, I am running close to being out of space on my recording device. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off with that. But, let me know if there's anything specific you want to know about that, and I'll see if I can't find it out for you. Stay tuned, and thanks for watching. Until next time, this is CJ, your local friendly technology addict, and you've been watching The Tech Addict's Attic. Take care, guys.